War. What is it good for? Absolutely something. Now, I'm not advocating war, but war, just to summarize this whole message today, is supposed to be hell. And I mean it's supposed to be hell. I'm not saying we should go to war at the drop of a hat. All I'm saying is that when you go to war, you go to war. It's supposed to be hell, and these Geneva Conventions, and again, I know I'm going to get a lot of negative comments on this. The Geneva Conventions was meant to civilize war, but prior to that, we were not. When I say we, I'm talking humanity were savages when it came to war. I mean, World War II. If you look at anything written during that period of time, you know that the Germans were regularly bombing France, England, Poland, everywhere. They were tearing down hospitals, churches, museums, schools, residential neighborhoods, and that was horrific. I'm not advocating we do that, but the point there was that the purpose of war back then was to break the will of the opposition. And it would do that by showing them just how serious they were at achieving their goals. So now you fast forward to where we are today. And those who bring war to us, they do not follow the Geneva Convention. They do not follow any rules about what is a strategic target, what is not. They don't care whether they're bombing a church, a school bus, a military target, a tank. There's no differences for people fighting when they don't have rules. But when we play by rules, we are taking our military and we are putting them in handcuffs and saying, okay, we are going to bind your wrists and we're going to take away your guns. The only guys you're going to be able to shoot at are the ones wearing a uniform, or that you can conceivably know for sure are shooting at you, or shooting at a specific thing, or training people to shoot to do such and such. But if they decide to train inside of a school, if they decide to train inside of a residential neighborhood or a church or whatever it may be, they're off limits. And that puts restrictions on us, and it makes us not only weak, but it eliminates the concept of what war is supposed to be. Hell. You bring it. You go to war to win and to break the will of the other side. Now, I am not advocating that we go out there and start bombing schools, bombing hospitals, shooting young children, but the concepts behind the Geneva Convention need to be rethought, because when we go into a battle against an enemy who has no rules and that is willing to bring it, we're in trouble. Now, this reminds me, because I'm a Star Trek guy, and Star Trek's on my mind, of an episode of Star Trek to show you an illustration. I don't remember the episode name, but in that episode, there were two planets at war for hundreds or thousands of years. And they got to the point where they felt that wars were, they were too rough. So they created essentially a simulated war in a computer where side A would launch a sneak attack on side B, the other planet. And it would say, all right, you lost 1,600 casualties, and here's a list of the people. And those people then had to report to a death camp and be exterminated. And, of course, Captain Kirk came along and he changed that. He says, you guys really need to mix it up. You got to, you're trying to protect your buildings and your lifestyle by being civil in your war, but you should just have it out. You're going to come to a fight, you're going to bring your fists. And for that reason, I am saying that when we do go to the mattress, when we do go to fight, we bring our fists and we don't hold anything back. And we make sure that both sides are afraid to continue the fight. And that's the only way a war actually will end, because as far as I can tell, we've been going on this war 8 years of Bush, 8 years of Obama, and I don't see an end to most of the fighting that we're seeing. Unfortunately, that's not too optimistic, but the point is, because we're never engaged in the fight to win. We are holding back, and we are essentially trying and hoping that we can eventually, just hold them off and find those little pockets. And that's not always the best way to do it. So for today's idea of the day, a little thought about the fact that war is supposed to be hell. So that's today's idea of the day. Hopefully you liked it. Now, I post a brand new idea every single day right here on my channel. And that's pretty much all it takes to be part of the fun. But it would be really great if you'd be a subscriber. Now, I'm not saying any pressure that you have to subscribe or anything like that, because after all, I really don't need subscribers. All I really need is maybe this chair. And that's it. I only need the chair and the paddleball game. And maybe this remote control and the ashtray. And that's all I need. Maybe the lamp. All right, maybe I do need subscribers. Could you please subscribe?